How to double side the commission if you're a realtor. It's natural for a realtor to want to sell their own listings. We call this double siding, where the listing agent gets the commission for the listing and they also get the buyer side of the commission. We're going to talk about how to increase the odds of getting both sides. In reality, what you really need is to have more time to find the buyer. And to get more time, you have to kind of keep other buyers' agents from selling your property. Let's face it, the best deals go in the first week or two of a listing. And if it takes you 10 weeks to find the buyer, you're not going to be able to double side the commission if it sells in the second week when it took you 10 weeks. So there's a variety of tools that we can use to make sure that we have enough time to find the buyer on our own. One of the things we can do is make showings difficult. Another is to make or manipulate the listing so that other realtors and their buyers will have a harder time finding the listing. Now, every day, tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of auto emails go out to buyers who are searching for a home. If we make it difficult for these buyers to find the home, then they won't be calling their realtor to show the property. So the next thing you can do is make offers difficult. For example, no offers considered without a proof of funds, or no offers considered unless the buyer has seen the property. You can put anything you want on your criteria for accepting offers. Some realtors use a platform that is, let's say, different. Normally, when I make an offer, I get the signature and I email it to the listing agent. But some agents require you to use a platform that is different and sometimes difficult. You have to set up a password. You have to input the listing exactly the way that platform requires. And it can be difficult to make an offer on some of these platforms, or at least challenging until you've done it a few times. And then one way to increase the odds of getting both sides, just don't answer your phone. And that way no one can show your property. Now, on MLS, you can put in, there's, I don't know how many, 800, 1,000 different buttons on the MLS data entry form. And you can leave out data or you can play with the data. And let's talk about it. For example, neighborhoods are not auto-populated. So, for example, Florimar can be spelled Flor space A space Mar, or Flora space Mar, or Florimar with dashes, or Florimar without any dashes or spaces. And you must be exact. Now, just for those of you who are wanting to find these listings, there is a wildcard symbol, the star, which is capital 8 on your keyboard. So if you want to find all the listings in Florimar, regardless of the spellings, you can do FLOR and then the star, and that'll give you all the listings that fit the Florimar neighborhood. Financing offered. Of the 4,600 listings in Pasco County, the majority of them say FHA or VA or FHA, and a lot of buyers out there use FHA. But if you omit putting the FHA button on the listing, then you're going to get a whole lot less buyers. Something like 70, 80% of the properties go FHA. So with this one button, leave FHA off, and you're going to get rid of 70 or 80% of the buyers that might be competing with you on selling your own listing. Make it hard for other realtors to show their property, require other realtors to make an appointment to show, and then don't answer your phone. So when they call you, they can't show the property because you don't have the showing instructions on MLS. Another thing you can do is put down buyer's agent to provide a proof of funds prior to showing. Now, a lot of agents like to go on showings with the customer the first time around and get to know them and then ask for the proof of funds or the pre-approval. So if you have a first-time showing with a customer and you don't have the pre-approval, you haven't had a chance to meet them and assure them that you're their buyer's agent, then this is a great way to keep your property from being shown, reducing the competition, giving you more time to double side the commission. We talked about making it hard to find the listing. So one way is to list it with an out-of-area realtor. Now, this won't work if you are a local area realtor and you're marketing your home. But recently I was driving through this exact neighborhood, Florimar. We saw a sign on a house. It wasn't coming up on MLS. It was listed in another area, so it did not come up. Any local realtors who were looking for that listing would have had to go to another listing site to find that listing, and actually that's how I found it. You can omit key characteristics. In Pasco County, 1 acre property that is zoned agricultural can have horses. In fact, there's a button under additional land information called zoned for horses. Don't click on zoned for horses, and you're going to cut down on the competition to sell that property. Right now, or on this date, April 30th, there were 58 properties that had zoned for horses clicked. But there were over 150 properties that were zoned agricultural with 1 acre or more that could have had horses. In fact, if you're shopping for a horse property, don't click those 58 properties. I mean, certainly look at them, but the real opportunity is in the other 100 or 92 properties that aren't clicked zoned for horses, and those sellers have no idea that the real money is in zoned for horses. But this video is to teach you how to get more time, and that's by delay and block. We talked about how the financing options are on MLS, and if they're clicked, it's going to send out that listing to more buyers, other realtors' buyers. So if you leave off FHA, VA, FDA, USDA, conventional, owner financing, lease option, leave those off. And the fact is there are 3,995 homes that don't have one of these options clicked. That means there's 636 properties that have nothing checked. And even cash, if you check cash, at least it'll show up on auto emails that are buyers who might want to buy a cash deal. In fact, every listing should have cash, but we're talking about how to get more time. And to get more time, you can leave off the financing option. Buyer to verify. Some buyers know what they want. They want no deed restriction, no pet restrictions, no lease restrictions. They want a particular flood zone, or they have other criteria. A good way to make it harder for other realtors' clients to find the listing is to put buyer to verify. This will keep the subject property from showing up on these auto emails, and this will give you more time to sell your own listing. Now, if you get called out on it, okay, I've talked to agents for 25 years, and nobody wants to make a mistake, and nobody wants to put their customer at risk. So if you have buyer to verify, then you're not going to be at risk. So you have plausible deniability if confronted. Why didn't you check this box? Well, I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want my customer to be sued. School zones change and deed restrictions change. And if we sell this to somebody who relies on our listing, then we might get sued. So there is plausible deniability. All right, pictures. In my world, you put the front picture of the house, and the second picture is the best feature. So if it's a waterfront home, you have a beautiful picture of the waterfront. If it's a pool home, you have a great picture of the pool. But this has to do with how people search, and it's almost like these dating sites where they say swipe right, you see the picture, you swipe to the next person. You see the picture, you swipe to the next person. And that same thing occurs in houses. They search for the house, they see the house, they don't like the picture, or they click on the second or third picture, and then they swipe right to the next picture. Or to the next house. They look at that picture, they hate it or they love it. They look at picture 2, it's the bathroom. Picture 3 is a bedroom. Picture 4 is a hallway. They don't see anything of interest. Boom, they're on to the next house. So if you put the best pictures at 20th or 30th, it's likely that the buyer will lose interest and not pick this home to be shown by another agent, giving you an opportunity to have more time to double side the commission. All right, dogs. If you haven't seen my video, Real Estate and the 100-Pound Dog, there's a lot of variables that can occur. If someone comes to town and they have a dog, you can just leave off pet restrictions and put buyer to verify, and you won't have competition from people with animals. All right, listing agent thoughts, and let's go to reality. All right, so if you didn't know, this was satire, and this was me venting that some listings are really substandard. And listing agents with lots of listings understand that they can't sell their listings without buyer agent help. You operate in life either from scarcity or abundance, and abundance causes us to find the easy way to get things done. I have 28 listings. Well, more than that when you consider my pendings. I need buyer's agents to help me. And I am a buyer's agent, so I'm out there looking for deals for my buyers as well. And as I go through listings, I realize that some of these listings are not in the best interests of the seller. The best interest of the seller, that is to get the most amount of money in the least amount of time, is to have the most amount of buyer's agents working your property. So this guide up till now is a great piece on what not to do, or just do the opposite of this content to get the best results. Now, for buyers, it's really important that your realtor understands how MLS works and how computers work and how they have their own challenges when searching. And the big example is the horse buyer property, because if your buyer's agent doesn't understand horse property listing idiosyncrasies, then the best options will not be presented to you. And the best options actually are the ones that are listed incorrectly, because they don't have the competition from other horse buyers. So in conclusion, you realize this was satire. Much of my content has benefits of doing the right thing. But unfortunately, they don't go viral. When you say, do the right thing, do the right thing, nobody's interested. So putting this together in the opposite of what it should be, which is how to sell your home in the least amount of time with for the most amount of money, I put this out there as, if you're a listing agent, how do you get the most amount of time so that you don't have to compete with the other buyers' agents? And what I'd like to say regarding that is that we really do want to do the right thing. And a lot of agents want to do the right thing, but they just don't realize the idiosyncrasies of these MLS data entry challenges. Hey, I'm Randal Jenkins. I'm a realtor. I have my own brokerage. I'm also a mortgage broker. You can reach out to me for anything real estate related. If you want to see more of my content, you can go onto my YouTube page, or you can go onto Facebook and find some of my business pages, or you can just reach out and call me. My phone number is easy. It's 409, like the spray cleaner, 409 home will get you through to my phone number. Thank you for watching and have a great day.